Hi, I'm David Young, and these are my artist notes. Retro, classic, romantic, I suppose. Growing up, we had a lot of CDs from old artists. One of my big inspirations is Elvis, and he has a lot of fast songs, but he also has a lot of slow songs too. You know, everybody knows like Can't Help Falling in Love, etc. And then another one, and this guy was actually the first concert I went to, Kenny Rogers. Surprises people a lot when I tell them I grew up listening to Kenny Rogers' greatest hits. So I take some inspiration from that, you know, the slow, soft, romantic kind. There's also a lot of other artists that I grew up listening to, like Sinatra, and I draw inspiration from all those people. So that's probably why my songs are kind of slow and romantic and a little jazzy, like you said. I would say the misconception that I've heard from a few people that old school artists don't push boundaries because they're kind of taking all the way from the past. I don't think that's true. You know, I've listened to a lot of other old school artists like Elliot James Ray and Stephen Sanchez, and they're trying to push their own boundaries in the sort of retro style. You know, mix it with the new sounds. Try to appeal more to the younger audience, of course, because we also want them to be a part of this old, new wave. So to say that old school artists are just, you know, copies of the past or whatever, I think is a misconception that I'd really like to clarify. I think it's through romance, you know, through love, because no matter what, as long as people exist, they're always going to be able to relate to the feeling of love. And that's probably the biggest, you know, emotion that I know of in music. That's how I tend to appeal, I think, to a lot of younger audiences, is that I write songs that may sound old, but I try to be inspired as well from new songwriting, you know, and writing about, unrequited love, or already being in love, or being able to love somebody. And I know everybody will always be able to relate to that. Okay, I love Itchy Worms. Itchy Worms is probably my favorite rock band. Almost tied with the Eraserheads, but I really love their album Noontime Show. It's really nice, especially the song Love Team. I like that song. Actually, a lot of OPM I listen to, if it's not old, like Apo Hiking Society, is usually Itchy Worms. You know, rock. I love River Maya. River Maya is lovely. I love Hinahanap Kita. And of course, Kisap Mata. Well, the song was inspired by unrequited love. Not necessarily from personal experience. You can be the judge of that. I would say that the song is really about longing, it's in the title, longing for someone else's love. You know, whether they're far away, whether they, maybe even if they love you or they don't love you. You know, if it's mutual or not mutual, it just has a sort of vibe of like, I really yearn for your love. The writing process actually started as a poem. So I challenged myself every night to write a poem before I go to sleep. So I was feeling inspired by a story that I had heard about somebody's love being unrequited. Surprise, surprise, happens a lot. And I decided to write the first verse. Then the next morning, I wrote the second verse, and then in the shower, singing as always, I came up with the melody, which was all the world, that first part. And then throughout the day I worked on the song, and then for the next, few days, a week, I made little edits and I reworked the song, and then it became Long for Your Love. The recording process was really fun. Sir Jonathan Manalo, if he's watching, thank you so much. He produced the single, so I got to go to his studio, which is called the Purple Room, and got to record there, and he produced the whole thing. We did a couple of takes, and then he worked his magic. You know, I myself, even though I had a front row ticket to watch the man of music work, I can't describe to you exactly what he was doing. He was just in the flow, I would say the chorus, because it's like a ramp up to the energy, like from like 1 to like 10, you know, it's like, your love means more to me. There are a couple parts that I also like. All the world could give could never ever mean to me. As long as I live, the love you hold so secretly. You know, I really like that lyric because it's like everything that could ever come my way would not mean as much as the love that you just seem to, you know, keep to yourself or keep away from me. You know, I really like that lyric. I hope they can use the song as a, how would you say, a vessel, a way to sort of let their emotions come out. You know, whenever they listen to Long for Your Love, they're free to feel sad, they're free to cry, they're free to hopefully not, but get angry, I don't know, because you're like, or feel frustrated maybe, that's a better word, you know, that you just can't get her. Of course, I don't wish that for the people who listen to my song, but if you go through that, I want you to be able to turn to my song for medicine, for a remedy. I was actually surprised. I was very grateful, and I was super happy. You know, I really couldn't believe that something that I had worked on and written and recorded and gone through the whole process of could really, you know, hit so well with a really wonderful group of people, you know, my fans. Thank you so much again for streaming the song. Yeah, I just still every day when I wake up and I look at the streams or I go through my TikTok and there's messages of support and love for the song, really warms my heart. So thank you. I was actually sitting at dinner, and then my mom said, "Hey, what's this? You know, explain this to me." And it's basically, for those of you who don't know what an AU is, it's an alternate universe. It's like a fan fiction. And they use my song, and they even use my name as the character, Lolo David. And I was sitting there and I said, oh, this is interesting. But I didn't really understand the gist fully, even as a Gen Z guy who knows what fanfics are. You know, it took a little while for me to sort of get it, and that's why I posted on my TikTok for people to explain what an AU was. And then when I finally got it, I was like, okay. And then I read all of the parts. And great story. Absolutely wonderful story. Of course, the basura date. The basura date is the best part because it's very creative. I've never heard that ever, that you can have a date with somebody while taking out the trash. That's actually very convenient. I would also say that I thought there was some sort of like backstory to it, but I spoke to the author once on her live, was commenting after the video release. I asked her, where'd you get the idea from? And she said, nothing, just came into my mind one day. And I was like, that's real genius right there. I didn't get to talk directly, I just commented on her live. It was really fun. It was really fun to hear her talk and then react to my comments, and then me answer back to the comments, and then everyone else in the live going like, OMG, you know, Lola David. So it was a very fun experience. The music video shooting process was an absolute adventure. Going from the day all the way into the night and being able to work with a wonderful crew for the first ever music video that I've ever even been a part of was amazing. Karina Bautista is such an amazing actress, and so is Josh. Josh is an amazing actor, Josh Worsley. And getting to talk to them off camera was a really fun experience. You know, I got to make new friends, not only with the actors, but also with the crew. So lovely, lovely experience overall. Spark is very ironic because I wrote the song in a brownout. So there was a typhoon and the house lost power, so I got bored, wrote the song, and I was essentially thinking, okay, my last song was unrequited. This time I want to write a song where finally we get to feel the love, you know, where it's finally mutual and I'm with this lady, and we're able to communicate that we love each other. And the thought in my head was a prom dance, so that's why we're dancing. Well, I hold you in my arms and we're dancing cheek to cheek, you know. So I was imagining that, like a whole ballroom, disco ball, and then they're dancing underneath. You know, it's prom. I thought that would really strike a chord with a lot of people, you know, in a wonderful way. I just like to have a girl who's nice to talk to. I think that's really one of the best things, is to be able to converse for hours, you know, talk to each other, have a conversation without even noticing the time that's passed. That's probably the #1 quality I look for in my tender lady. I hope they go out there and they find their tender lady. Good luck, everyone. I'd like to say that I'm pretty proud of the chords. That was pretty cool. I won't get into all of it, but basically I used chords from like the 50s, you know, the like doo-wop music, the old music, and then I reworked them. Then I added a few more just to like stretch my horizons in songwriting. So every time I listen to the song, I'm like, oh, I love that chord change that I put on this part or something, and I hope people are able to appreciate that as well. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. I really do keep up with everything on all social medias. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, you guys keep giving me love, so yeah, keep it up. It really warms my heart and it motivates me to write more just for you guys. With that being said, please keep streaming my new single, Tender Lady, and of course, Long for Your Love.
Hi, this is Vice Ganda.
And this is Regine Velasquez Alcacid.
Hi, I'm David Young.
Hi, I'm Heart Salvador.
Hi, I'm Enzo Almario.
Hi, I'm John Arcenas.
Mabuhay! We are Bini.
For more videos, subscribe now
To the ABS-CBN
Star Music YouTube channel.
And don't forget to hit the bell button for our latest updates.
Thanks for watching!